All right, good Friday morning, everybody. It's now 10:49. I want to let you know we have a new tornado warning in effect, and it's WTOC's policy. If there's a tornado warning in effect for our immediate viewing area, we're going to be on for the duration of that. Right now, here's where we are. Tornado warning going through 11:15 in the morning, right over the Mount Vernon area, back towards the Alamo region. So we're getting into parts of Montgomery and Wheeler County right now. That goes through 11:15 a.m. Let's go and see what we have as far as the entire area. It's with this system here. It's a line of storms, which is going to be racing in quickly. That same line has severe thunderstorm warnings down into the Baxley area. That's going through the 10:45 hour as well, I believe. And a new tornado watch for our entire viewing area is also now in effect. And that's going to be going through, I believe, that 6 p.m. hour. So that's what we're going to be tracking here. Let's go ahead and track that tornado warning, which we have out there. And this is going to be a fast-moving line of some storms right now. We'll put it on the radar and show you where that line is. And it's with this little cell right over here. We're going to go ahead and zoom on into this area. And as we zoom on in, we can see that this storm has radar indicated rotation associated with it. Now, we can't see that here from the reflectivity, but we can show you exactly where it is. So if you're watching over in Alamo right now, this storm is right over your region. We're going to switch on over to the velocities, which sees the winds inside the storm. And this is going to show us where we're seeing that rotation, which prompted the warning. And that's a very well-defined signature right now. As we can see, it's right over the Alamo area right here where we have the blue. That's some very strong winds gusting right there. Look at that, 77 miles per hour. And then we have the other one in the reds, which are going to be going in the opposite direction at 17. So we got a 90-plus mile per hour, what we call a couplet, over in that area. So that's a very good signature that there is probably some type of rotation. Whether it's making it to the ground or not, we'll have to wait and see. Let's go ahead and track this out for you to see who is going to be, needs to be alert with this system. And it's racing out towards the northeast at about 45 miles per hour right now. So again, right over the city of Alamo, and it's heading out towards the northeast. So if you're watching up in the Kibbe area, looks like it's going to be moving up into your area and up towards the Terrytown region by 11:10, Soperton by 11:13. You need to make sure that if you know anybody or live in this path of the storm, that you need to be in the lowest level of your home, away from any windows. You want as many walls in between you and the outside as possible. And again, it's showing a very good rotation signature right here, now moving just to the north of the Alamo area. Let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit more and see if we can find a little bit more in the way of some street areas into this region. And it's right here along, it looks like it's just to the north of the Georgia 126 area, and kind of moving now north of US 280 right here, getting very close to the Stuckey area. So if you're watching even in the Stuckey region, especially north of 280, you need to be in your safe shelter right now, because this region here is where we're seeing that tornado warned storm right now, and it's going to be heading up quickly here towards Georgia 119. Looks like just north of the Glenwood area. Again, it's moving out to the northeast. So if you're watching over in Mount Vernon right now, it looks to be like you're going to be okay from this particular cell. But again, we're going to be tracking that out here. We're not really seeing too much away of any other little cities out there, so hopefully it's a non-populated area. But it's going to be moving quickly. So again, there's Alamo right now. It's already moved through Alamo, moving very quickly. The latest scans continue to show a pretty good rotation in here, which could be producing a tornado at this time. Let's go over and see if we can see any debris inside that storm. This is our what we call the correlation coefficient right here. And this can see if there's any debris from a tornadoes, which is kind of lifted up into the air, and can kind of see that activity. Not really seeing much in the way of any debris signature right here near the Alamo area, so that's definitely some good news. But again, hopefully that's a very unpopulated area, so we're probably not much in the way of any buildings out in that particular area. So let's get you back over here and get you situated here and show you exactly what we're talking about here. If you're just joining us right now, we do have a tornado warning, which is in effect right over the Alamo area. It's kind of moving just to the north of the Alamo region right now. That's that tornado warning. And we have a new tornado warning right now for Jeff Davis County as we speak right here. Let's see if we can kind of put the time on that. That goes through 11:15, that tornado warning. So this is the line we were talking about, a very fast-moving line of thunderstorms working in from the west. And we're going to be seeing the potential. Main threat was for some strong damaging winds, but there's so much wind energy in here that an isolated tornado sparking up pretty quickly can't be ruled out. So that's the one right here. Let's go ahead and zoom on down into that area. And as we zoom in here, it's the one over here into Jeff Davis County. Again, I'm getting the information just as you're seeing it right now. This one just came in, so we're going to learn about it together right here. Here's the storm moving just to the east of the Dent area, and it's moving quickly. Again, these storms are moving to the northeast at about 45 miles per hour. So Hazelhurst right now, it looks like you're going to be okay. Let's go ahead and see if we can see where the velocity is, so we can see exactly where the couplet is. A lot of times you can't see it when you're looking just at the rainfall or the reflectivity, but if you look at the velocity, that's where you can definitely see a better couplet, which is looking at what the winds are seeing. And that's right there. You can see that green is going towards the radar, which is located in Warner Robins, which is out to the northeast, and the red is going away from the radar. So we're getting that rotation right in here. We're going to go ahead and put a little track on this one as well. And I want to go ahead and kind of zoom out just a little bit here so we can get some other cities in here, because again, these storms are racing pretty quickly here out to the northeast. So again, if you're watching over into the Hazelhurst area, you are looking at that tornado warning or just to your south. As you put the track on that right now, as we'll see what kind of cities pop up at ahead of it. There it is, this one right here, and it's heading out to the northeast. So we'll put some cities on there, and there you see. So if you're watching over in these areas here, getting into the Graham area by 11:03, Toombs Central by 11:27, Lyons 11:40, and even if it holds together up towards Claxton just before the top, just before that noontime hour. You need to be in the lowest level of your home, your safe shelter, away from any windows as much as you can, and make sure you have a way to get those weather alerts. Again, we're putting more information on our First Alert weather app, and we're going to send it over to Cutter Martin, who's over in the First Alert Weather Center right now with a little bit more detailed information.
Yeah, you know, when we get into some of these higher end severe weather events, a lot of times we're waiting for confirmation. We may be waiting to see if indeed there was a touchdown damage, a tornado. We are indeed starting to get some reports out of the National Weather Service office in Jacksonville. Lake City at 2:42, emergency managers, local officials in that general area did report a possible tornado, and the southern end of this line has caused or produced widespread tree damage in Atkinson, the county area there. That's just outside of the WTOC viewing area near Pearson. So as the line moved through Pearson, Atkinson County, it did produce widespread wind damage, multiple reports of trees down, and then a separate area near Lake City, that's in Georgia, or Route 242, again south and west of the official viewing area. But these storms are moving into our area, so already capable of producing, probably have produced thunderstorm wind damage and possibly some tornado damage there. So we're going to reset here. Dave's editing his graphics. Just want to let you know, I know this may be common sense to some folks, but maybe folks moving into town, into this area that aren't used to this type of severe weather. Tornado watch means ingredients are in place for a tornado to form. That is everybody watching right now. Everyone in the Georgia Coastal Empire, the South Carolina Low Country, you're under a tornado watch. All the ingredients are the same. Whether you're watching in Beaufort or you're watching down in Baxley and Appling County, everyone has the potential to be impacted by severe weather today. A tornado warning, we have 2 in effect right now, means a tornado has either been sighted or radar indicated. And both of our tornadoes radar indicated with possibly a sighting Lake City Route 242, again, well south and west of the city of Savannah. And again, I'm kind of here in the WTOC Weather Center just to walk you through our coverage here. I know you don't want us to interrupt programming, but we will continue to be on TV as long as a threat is posed, and that's the case right now. Just want to note a particular tornado watch in effect right now, and the primary threats include, this is straight from the Storm Prediction Center here, I'm reading it off of my monitor, a few tornadoes are likely. Widespread damaging winds and isolated significant gusts up to 75 miles per hour. Likely. This is going to be a high-end damaging wind event with the possibility, probably the likelihood, here of at least a couple of tornadoes. So not everyone's going to get hit by a tornado today. That is very clear, but there will be a few tornadoes embedded within the nasty straight-line winds that most of us are going to see. So again, right now, going to go over to warnings that are in effect. We now have a 3rd tornado warning just outside of the DMA, or the WTOC viewing area as we call it. In red, these are your tornado warnings. Frame of reference here, City of Savannah, 21 corridor, Savannah River, Low Country. We're okay, nothing going on right now. But we do have a warning in effect for portions of Jeff Davis, far western Appling counties, also portions of Wheeler, Montgomery, and Trutland counties, and this most recent tornado warning just to the east of Dublin. This is not going to impact Emmanuel County, will not be in our viewing area, but just want to let you know these two storms, one in Jeff Davis County, western Appling County, that warning is in effect until 11:15. Your time now is 10:59, about another 15 minutes left on that warning. And we do have a second tornado warning, this one in effect until 11:15 as well. And that's in addition to the yellow polygon severe thunderstorm warnings. And any thunderstorm today, whether rotating or not, will be capable of producing 60+ mile-per-hour winds, and even away from this line of storms, we are having wind gusts 30 to 40 miles per hour. That's enough to bring down some limbs. I noticed some down in the WTOC parking lot. Now, Dave, what I'm a little concerned with is maybe we have isolated power outages ahead of this nasty line of storms, and people may not have their typical way of receiving severe weather information. I want to remind you, we stream our breaking news coverage and normal news in the WTOC weather app. Just, Dave, making sure that people charge those devices so they can get their continuous coverage as we track this now apparently dangerous line of storms moving into the coastal empire and the low country.
Yeah, again, Cutter, we have the tornado warnings in effect for our western areas. And we've been talking about this. It's been a line of thunderstorms moving in. Once that line moves through your particular area, your severe threat is going to be over for the day. But out ahead of it, where most of us are watching right now, you have to prepare for that. As Cutter mentioned, even in non-thunderstorm winds, we're going to see some damage possibly here, tree damage here, tree stuff down. So if you're outside watching right now, secure any loose items around your house that could be blown away with those winds. We do have the warning. Two of tornado warnings in effect for our region right now. One is right over the Alamo, kind of moving northeast of the Alamo area. The other one is now moving into eastern areas of Jeff Davis County. Those are the ones we're going to be keeping our eyes on. They both are in effect going through the 11:15 hour. So you have to make sure that you know and let your friends know as well and family that if they're watching right now, we really need to pay attention to this line of storms making its way into our western regions right now. Here is what we're looking at right now. This is the velocity, which shows us the winds inside the storm, winds going away from and towards the radar. Anytime you get a strong green and red right next to each other, that's a good indication that we're seeing rotation in there. This was the storm which prompted the warning earlier. It looks like that one is weakening just a bit. So I'm going to go down and focus on the one down here into the Jeff Davis County area, which has a little bit better signature, it looks like, as far as seeing some rotation in there. And that's the one here. Here's Hazelhurst right now. This is the road going down into the Baxley area. Graham, if you're watching over in the city of Graham right now, kind of just along Georgia 289, this is the storm we're going to be keeping our eyes on that is prompting the tornado warning. We'll put a track on there for you as it heads out to the northeast at about 45 miles per hour. And it looks like it's going to be moving more on the west and northwest side of Graham. Not many cities, thankfully, it looks like showing up on our maps right now in here. But if you know anybody, maybe there might be some individual streets over into that area. This is what you're going to need to be keeping your eyes on. And also getting up towards, it looks like, the English Eddy area as we go in probably in the next 25 minutes or so. So keep your eyes out for that. Let's go ahead and see what we have if we move a little bit further out to the north right now at that other storm moving in here. And you can see we're not seeing any other type of rotation you got to worry about if you're watching over into the Uvalde area. That looks to be good. But this one here, as we get further down, getting right over towards the Barn Hill area, this was the other one that had the warning. And we're still getting a lot of wind signature associated with that. And there still could be some rotation embedded in this area. So we'll go ahead and put a tracker on there as well because it's getting into some of our far western areas. So let's go ahead and put the tracker on that as it continues again to work out towards the northeast. This area right here, and it looks like it's going to be heading right up towards the Soperton area. So if you're watching over into that region, again, you need to be in your safe shelter in the Barn Hill region. You could be getting into your area right about now, the Lothair area, hopefully I pronounced that correctly, and then eventually getting up towards Soperton by 11:12 this morning. Fast-moving storms. The line itself is working at about 45 miles per hour out towards the east. So these are going to be fast-moving storms. Embedded in those storms, even if this is not producing a tornado at this time, the signature is looking less and less likely that it is. That is still going to have some tremendous amounts of winds with it. And again, you heard Cutter say earlier, we could see some of those winds gusting maybe 70 to 75 miles per hour, which is going to do a lot of damage. Now, the good news is, again, this is going to be fast-moving lines of storms. So once the storms move through your area, your severe threat, again, is going to be a lot lower. So let's go ahead and take a look at the radar right now and show you that storms just getting into our western areas. It's this line of storms that we're concerned about right now. And the Hazelhurst area, again, you will have that tornado warning going through 11 to 15. The northeast of the Alamo area getting up towards Barn Hill, your tornado warning goes through 11 to 15. You notice behind it, the severe threat is really going to be much lower. So we're all dry along the I-95 now, I-95 corridor now. Hopefully you're watching. Hopefully you have a way to receive these weather alerts. If you know anybody here that doesn't have a way to get alerts, make sure you're alerting them and at least telling them that this line is still severe. And we are going to see that racing out towards the east in coastal areas here over the next couple of hours. So let's get you into the warnings right now. We'll set you what we have out there. We'll actually get all the warnings and show you that we do have that tornado watch in effect for our entire viewing area. This goes through 6 p.m. And then we have 2 tornado warnings, and then in the yellow we have the severe thunderstorm warnings. Those would be the winds probably gusting 60 to 70 miles per hour with that line of storm is moving in. But the main concern we're looking at is the potential for tornadoes. And again, an isolated tornado can't be ruled out, and that's what we're seeing here. We're getting some of the spin-ups right now as we get into parts of the extreme eastern areas of Jeff Davis County. So we'll look at the velocity again, and that will show us where we're still seeing some of that rotation in here. Notice how most of this is solid green. That's good because that shows us that the winds are kind of all moving in the same direction. The problem is when you start to see a little bit of rotation in here, and that's where we start to see the spin-ups, and we can actually pick those out pretty good on the velocity here. So let's zoom on in, and you can see the green, and then there's that red. So this is the signature which we're keeping our eyes on right now that's continuing to produce that tornadic signature. That's why we have that tornado warning in effect on the east side of Hazelhurst. It looks like it's east now of US 221 and continuing to head up towards the northeast. We'll put your tracker on here again. So if you're watching in these particular areas as it gets over closer to the English Eddy area we talked about, Spring Branch looks like if you're along US 1, you need to be concerned about it as well, but it's mostly on the north and west side of Spring Branch. Actually, you're going to be just fine with that particular storm as it's moving out to your northeast, northwest rather. But Fallen Rocks, 11:18, the storm is moving to your area. It's 11:06 right now. That's how quickly it's going to be moving into your region. The Tomb Central area, 11:26. The Altamaha area by 11:31. And again, it's still showing a pretty good signature here of seeing some type of rotation embedded in there. It's north of Georgia 27 and to the east here of Georgia 221. We got some information in here?
Yeah.
We're going to send it over to Cutter right now. He's going to have a little bit more information over in the First Alert Weather Center.
And again, we're being really transparent here, folks, walking through the process as we cover it here in the WTOC Weather Center. Dave and I, the meteorologist team, is out. Meteorologist Andrew Gorton, Jamie Ertl on the way in as well. Dave's been walking you through what is going to happen, tracking it for you. I just want to take a little step back and to confirm to you that this is not just a possibility. It is an actuality. We are having severe weather reports start to come in just outside of the WTOC viewing area, but these are the storms we're tracking for you right now. And again, clicking on some of these damage reports, thunderstorm wind damage, Atkinson County Emergency Management reports trees down in the vicinity of Kirkland. Time of damage was based on radar. That was about 10:30 this morning. On the east side of Pearson, again, same thunderstorm producing a large tree, downing that tree on the roadway in Axon. Again, the time of damage was based on radar. And earlier I did mention that Route 242, that possible tornado, that's actually further south. That's in Florida. This is just south of I-10, part of the same complex of storms, but no reports of funnel clouds or anything out of the cells that we're tracking right now, just straight line wind damage. That is what has been reported thus far. Of course, this could easily change. And I want to bring you back over to Safe Touch Security First Alert Live Radar because the feeling is that typically as these line of storms work their way eastward towards I-95, they tend to weaken. But that's not going to be the case today. If anything, it's going to be moving into an environment that climate is even more favorable for severe weather to occur. So a lot going on this radar. I want to draw it out for you, let you know that this is not a scattered, storm event. This is a solid line drawing this out for you. I'm actually going to switch over the color so you can see it more easily, more readily on your TV at home in white. This is a solid line of storms. The trend has been for the north of the Altamaha storms just to our north and to our west to rotate and possibly produce tornadoes. And the trend, it may change a little bit, south of the Altamaha River has been for more of a damaging straight line wind event. But again, this is an evolving situation. The structure of this line of storms likely will change as it approaches I-95, again, as it interacts with even better ingredients and different ingredients. We're looking at, again, a big-time severe weather event unfolding across the coastal Empire Lowcountry. And Dave, I think they just issued a new tornado warning here. Going to zoom down in, including portions of this is going to be far north. Northeastern portions of Jeff Davis County, east of Hazelhurst, northwest of Spring Branch. They may have just extended this a little bit, or maybe they're about to. Just saw an update come in with this cell that's near McNatt Falls, moving towards Toombs Central, English Eddy, Georgia 147. Going to maybe go just north of Georgia 147 between Toombs Central Town Center and Georgia 147. This is moving to the north and to the east rapidly. That's the other thing today. They're not moving slowly. These are going to be moving very quickly, so you have a little less time than you normally would in this neck of the woods, because our storms here tend to move very slowly, just the part of the country that we're in. But that's just not the case today. Again, they're moving very swiftly, and this tornado warning, okay, it is the same warning, same storm. They may continue this into Toombs County, so just a heads up near Vidalia, Toombs Central. Okay, there's the update. They've continued a severe thunderstorm warning now, not a tornado warning, into Toombs County. Again, going to get the latest on this. It'll let me know how fast the winds are with this. Toombs Central, Ponderosa 280 here in Toombs County, Georgia 56, Vidalia, Center, US 1, all under this severe thunderstorm warning. And any severe thunderstorm is still rotating. It's still capable of producing a tornado, but it looks like they may let this particular Toombs County cell, now moving into southern Toombs County, just south of Uvalde, expire. But they're going to continue that severe thunderstorm warning. And I'm looking at the data coming in, 60-mile-per-hour winds and penny-sized hail. This is moving northeast at 55 miles per hour. Now, storms today will be capable of producing isolated wind gusts of 70 to 75 miles per hour. So let's go ahead and put a tracker on this. Going to update the speed here at which it's moving. And this is going to go right into Toombs County. So Vidalia, especially southeast side of town, up towards Toombs Central. Here's your timeline. Cedar Crossing, 11:14. Less than 5 minutes, and these winds are going to be in your backyard. Toombs Central, 11:20 or so. 11:22, Johnson Corner. And 11:27, Lyons. And Ohoopee, 11:32. And if this storm maintains its heading, I'm going to give you the first alert here. We're talking Metter, maybe Collins, north side of Reedsville, moving towards far western, Bullitt County, tracking this out here for the next couple of hours. Again, going to kind of put up my own little cone on this, draw it out for you. Within this realm, you need to be on the alert for a rotating supercell thunderstorm moving into your neck of the woods over the next, let's say, 45 minutes. Again, moving very, very swiftly. Going to reset and jump back to warnings before we send it back over to Dave. I know there's a lot going on. It's one of those days where we have multiple watches, warnings, advisories in effect. And just to make sure everyone's on the same page, this warning may be allowed to expire at 11:15. In its place, Toombs County, a severe thunderstorm warning, which could still be upgraded. We also have a warning Trutland County, portions of northern Montgomery County, and portions of the Dublin area, 2 additional tornado warnings. Those are outside of the WTOC viewing area. But the problem is, Dave, this line of storms is only going to head closer and closer, deeper into the WTOC viewing area, into an area that has ingredients which could support further tornadoes and wind damage. Dave.
That's right. And you were talking about those storms kind of moving over into the other counties and kind of extending those advisories. That's exactly what's happening here in this case. These storms are moving so fast, they put out the warnings till 11:15. Well, the storm has already moved out of that warned area, so that's why the warnings are extended northward. So I would assume these 2 tornado warnings for the Hazelhurst area and over towards parts of Montgomery and Wheeler County will be expired, but they have moved up towards the Soperton area right now, as Cutter was mentioning. That's the storm right now, and we have a new severe thunderstorm warning, including parts of the Toombs County area, getting into Toombs Central right now. So this is what we're watching, as Cutter was mentioning, a line of the storms. The newest warning which we have is the one over here, that tornado warning going through 11:45 this morning right over the Soperton area. We'll go ahead and show you the storm which is tracking, what we're tracking right now is that line of storms. And it's that line from Soperton down to Toombs Central into the Baxley area. It's moving very quickly northeasterly here, 45 to 55 miles per hour, depending on the individual storm. So these storms are racing out to the north and northeast. And you see the warning here. Again, that's the one that was in Alamo. That storm itself is now up towards Soperton. The one we had here in Jeff Davis County, that storm is now moving out into southern areas here of Toombs County. So that's why we have that moving up into the next county northward. Let's go ahead and put the velocities on here, because this is going to be the main story today, where we're trying to see some rotation out here. We're going to be looking at the radar coming out of Warner Robins right now, which is giving us the clearest view of some of those storms. And there you have it. It's really this one right over Soperton and that storm right there are the two moving right now out of Jeff Davis County, crossing over the Altamaha River, and then heading up into southwestern areas of Toombs County that we're really concerned about right now. But the one was still a tornado warning. Let's go ahead and zoom on into that one, and that's the one up towards the Soperton region. As we zoom on in and put a tracker on that, Cutter's got some more information in here.
Yeah, I mean, not to pull away from the tornado warning, but while you're setting up your shot, I'm going to give you a couple minutes to do that. Yeah, this is a severe thunderstorm warning, a very large one. You know, they're just sure that this is going to produce damaging wind, so that they extend these warnings out well in advance. And now the warning is starting to encroach on the Savannah Metro. A severe thunderstorm warning capable of producing winds to 60. Would not at all be surprised if really we saw some 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts outside. And we actually, again, we staged this. We're kind of planning here in the Weather Center. WTOC storm chaser and meteorologist Andrew Gordon. The video over here on actually the other side there is right there is there in Chatham County, the general Savannah Metro. We positioned ourselves ahead of this storm. We're watching it move into the coastal empire and the low country. We will get real-time data letting you know what we're seeing, any damage that may have occurred. Just wanted to quickly update everybody, letting you know we have a live look at the metro on the west side. These storms moving towards us, and behind me, severe thunderstorm warning including Claxton, Statesboro, Sylvania, Metter, and Millen, Reedsville, portions of Little Wissey, Midway, northern Bryan County, Pembroke, maybe Ellabelle points west, also portions of Long County, Wayne County, Appling County. This entire area, 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts are a pretty likely possibility. And then again, as I throw this back over to you, Dave, the good news, it does appear that the tornado warning, Jeff Davis, has been allowed to expire. So the only two tornado warnings we have in effect are one near Soperton. This includes portions of the Soperton area proper. Again, the tornado was located over here in Lothair, moving towards Soperton, north and east at 50 miles per hour. That's east central Lawrence and Trutland counties, and even further away from our area, Lawrence and Johnson County. So no tornado warnings appear to be in effect right now, the WTOC viewing area, but by all means, this severe weather threat is continuing, if not ramping up, Dave.
Yeah, and this is the storm we were talking about here as we were tracking right over, now it's right over the Blackville area here as it continues to work its way out to the northeast. Again, about 50 miles per hour or so, and it's going to be moving very quickly. And it's still got a rotation in here, showing us some rotation signatures as it heads out to the northeast quickly. Some of the towns, let's see if we can get any of the towns popping up in there. Thankfully, it looks like it's a very non-populated area, but it's going to be moving just south of the Adrian area. So if you're south of Adrian, watching over here, Georgia, south on Georgia 15, I should say, that's going to be moving to your area. We have reports of some Montgomery County schools earlier in the tornado hallway drill. I got that from my cousin who texted me, says the kids are out there into the hallway. We had a report now just coming in from Oatland Island. It is closing today due to the impending weather. So people are going to be taking this seriously here as we go ahead and put a little refresher here if you're just joining us of what's happening out there. Now, we're dry here if you're watching in the Savannah area right now, and we are watching the line of showers and storms. Now that we do not have any alerts as far as any warnings in our area, we are going to be kind of ramping down this little update here. But if we do have any more tornado warnings in effect for our immediate viewing area, we're going to be back live on air. Now, we're going to be live coming up here on our social media platforms. So our WTOC First Alert Weather app will give you more updates as this line continues to make its way to the coast. Expect winds gusting non-thunderstorm winds gusting up to 40+ miles per hour. In the thunderstorms, they could be gusting over 70 miles per hour. So if you haven't seen the rain yet, again, the rain will be moving into your areas. Want to make sure that you're aware of that. Now is the time to go ahead and prepare for that. Look at all the severe thunderstorm warnings here from Scriven County all the way down into the Jessup area, into the Wayne County region for that line, in anticipation of this moving quickly into your area. So go ahead and secure loose items right now. Make sure you have a way to receive weather alerts. Stay with WTOC. If we do have any more tornado warnings, you be assured that we're going to be cutting into programming. But stay with us on all our social media platforms for more updates. Now back to programming.